Oh, it just hit 6:30. Okay.
Nice.
Let's see. Come on. It started. I started it. Oh, we're on. I'm trying to see if it's on my Facebook. Hello, people. Come in the room. We are in the room. Welcome back to Heads Up Mental Clarity. We'll just wait for a few more people to get in the room for it to start on Facebook. Come on, Facebook. What's happening? What is happening?
It's there.
It ain't showing up on my. Okay, let me go back. I might need to refresh my page. There you go. I had to refresh my page. Yep, I just had to refresh my page. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Please join us. Come in the room so we know that you are here. So we'll give people a few more minutes to kind of chime in, get on the page, set reminders out, and all that great stuff. So we're gonna be talking about imposter syndrome. Oh, girl, this stuff just be helping me so much. Stuff we talk about helps me too, because imposter syndrome is real.
It's not real, but it's real.
Right.
It's
Made up. It definitely is made up, but the feelings of it, the effects of it is very real. It's made up. That's no doubt. We make that up in our minds. Stuff that we make up in our minds about it. Yeah.
And it's coming from a place of just it comes, everything sets back from our childhood.
Distortion. Cognitive distortion, like things are distorted. We distort things. They're not what we think they are. Yeah. And that's one of the things.
Kind of goes back to that. Is it true? Is it true? Is it true? When I was doing a little bit of research that I was able to do today, it was talking about how Maya Angelou, and how amazing she.
I saw that. I was trying to see if I could share that video.
How she had struggled with imposter syndrome, and of course Whitney Houston struggled with it, and so it's a schema which we talk about in our clinical practices all the time, and that people have a belief system that
I can't
distorts their belief.
Maybe I said I can share my screen, so maybe at some point I can show that. But yeah, I saw that same video and I was like, wow, as great as and Einstein. It showed several people who are really great and have done some great things struggle with imposter syndrome. Yeah. Yeah. So come on in the room, people. So we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. I am Michelle Bird. Welcome to Heads Up Mental Clarity. And this is my lovely friend and co-host, Stephanie McCain. We're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. Yeah. And little snazzy title is Imposter Syndrome. You are no fraud. You are not a fraud. And so just kind of talking about that. Yeah, I can't see when people are on, unfortunately. But are you able to see?
No,
I'm not able to see. Not yet, or not on yet.
Well, you got your phone.
Yep, I'm looking at it. It doesn't look like anybody on, or I can't tell. And apparently, like just from what I can see, doesn't mean that's all that's on there. So if you are on, say hello. Drop something in the comments so we know that you're there. Yeah, drop something in the comments so that we know you're there. I see a couple of people are viewed, but the little eye that shows how many people are viewing doesn't necessarily mean that's all that's viewing. So today we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome, because I thought of this because that's been coming across my office a lot lately. I work with professional people, so in medical field, law field, not law enforcement yet, but like lawyers, doctors, um, PhD program, graduate students, and highly functioning, high achieving individuals. And this comes up all the time. Even with these great accomplishments that they have, they feel like a fake, like a phony, like a fraud. So, when looking up imposter syndrome, the definition that there were several, but the one that I'm going to talk about today or tell you about today is it refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. So it's like I have to do something not to let people down so that they can continue to believe that I'm who I say I am, even though I'm not. Hey, Mom. Hey,
Hey, Miss
Jasmine.
Almeda.
Yeah. So, it's yeah. And I've experienced it. I'm not sure if I don't know about you stuff, but I've experienced that. Like, am I really operating in this mode? Do I really know what I'm talking about? And in all your intellect, you know what you know, and you know what you're
Right.
talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah, but go ahead, Stephanie.
I experienced it after my divorce. Um and it actually I just didn't do anything because I experienced after my divorce and coming home. After my divorce in Kansas, it didn't hit me, it didn't bother me. But after I divorced and then came home and had to start all over again, came back to Ohio, yeah, I struggled with picking myself back up and saying, how could I um I just didn't feel validated as a marriage and
Mhm.
family therapist.
Right.
Um
Yeah.
and So I did. I struggled with that in the beginning when I first came home, and it's life is so good though because now all I see is couples, 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 and I don't think I saw one couple in Kansas. And now, now where I had my biggest struggle, now all I see is marriages and couples and marriages and couples,
Yeah.
and But yeah, so yes, absolutely, I did. Also, used to be a long time ago when I was sing. Um, but that was so brief. Like I just remember feeling inadequate, not enough
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
um to compare, comparing myself with other vocalists. But that came and went real quick. But I do remember the impact of it, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where some of the anxiety comes from when um like singing in front of a crowd or speaking in front of a crowd and getting really nervous, and it's really, you know, that doubting that I know what I know, or feeling like I'm a blank. It's gonna be a total blank. I'm not gonna. But when when you are confident that you know what you know,
Hmm.
there's gonna be no total blank, right? Um,
And I think even when you well, there's not going to be a total blank, but I think even people who are skilled at what they do, like you and I were talking about
yeah,
Maya Angelou and Whitney Houston, and you said Einstein. Um,
yes,
I know my ex partner, like I mean, he was a phenomenal musician. I mean, off the hook. And every time he got off the stage, he struggled. Like he would just, it was so hard for
yeah,
him after he would get off the stage.
yeah.
Real
And I
thing.
think it's very common among great people. Hey, Amby. Hey, Amberly. Hey, Danielle. It is really prevalent with people like high achieving people. So Maya Angelou, Albert Einstein, people who have done some really great things. Believe it or not, when you will start to compare it to other people, then maybe I'm not so great, right? The other, putting it a little bit more simpler, imposter syndrome is the experience of feeling like a phony, Like you're like a phony. Like I'm not really who I say I am, and they don't know it. Like you've pulled the wool over someone's eyes. You feel as though at any moment you're going to be found out as a fraud. They're going to know I don't know. Don't know what?
I know, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like I got here not because I was intelligent enough or worked hard enough, but I got to this place because um, it was luck. Had nothing to do with me being smart enough, intelligent enough, putting in the hard work. This happened because of just dumb luck. I just happened to be, upon this.
Right.
Yeah.
Just feeling like you don't measure up. Something is always
Yeah.
missing. I feel like I thought that a little bit when I was writing papers for school. Um, but because I felt like I'm always having to quote somebody else, and I just felt like there's got to be a new thought. There's got to be an original thought in here about this. But having to quote people, I felt like, and then you present what
Right.
you wrote about, and it's like, but it didn't feel like me. It felt like I don't know.
Wasn't my
I don't know.
ideas and my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Am I presenting this well? So I don't know. I don't know if that was imposter syndrome, but I do remember thinking I could really say something else, but I don't know if I'm supposed to say something else or
Right.
I don't know. But I that not enoughness is the energy behind the imposter syndrome that
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not enough. Like I'm not measuring up to whatever standard it is that we have inside of us.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, and it's our own standard, um, and our own thoughts of what people think we should be doing, and people haven't said anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? They haven't
Mhm.
said anything. It's like I've come up with what people might be thinking
Mhm.
that I should be doing or where I should be, and people hadn't said a word.
Right.
So it's all
Yeah.
that cognitive distortion, like the distorted thoughts that we have. Yeah. When's a good time? You wanted to do your.
So the quiz is I don't have a you have to be on the site to get the outcome, but I wanted to present the questions to the quiz.
Okay.
Hey y'all, who is that? Danielle. She says,
She said, Danielle says, hey, y'all. Hey, I literally do not remember having major doubt till I had my children and went through postpartum with my son.
hmm,
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
That can
yeah.
be another
That I
cause.
can see that, yeah.
Mhm.
See it feeling inadequate, not enough, and just kind of going through the motion and living up to somebody else's expectation or the one that you have inside your head that people are expecting of you. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So the questions are imposter questions.
Hmm.
And I thought that they would be good to read them and people can answer them honestly in your privacy of your own home. But they are questions that are imposter questions. They are statements that you can validate whether or not this is an experience that you have. You want to add them up or do whatever numbers you want to do with them because it's a website and you turn it in, of course, so they can talk back to you. But I thought the questions were really powerful because these are the questions or some of the statements that people that have the I'm not enough syndrome bring to the table. Um,
Yes. So if you got paper near you, grab your paper. I got mine. I'm going to write down my answers.
So and I may stop and talk about it too. So the first one is I believe the success I've had is a fluke. Is it always that you feel often, sometimes, or rarely, or never? I should make it three, but always, sometimes, or never.
Okay.
I believe the success I've had is a fluke.
Okay.
Even when I do well, I don't think I really deserve it. Always, sometimes, or never. Even
And what that can look like is not necessarily you saying to yourself, oh, I don't deserve this, but
mm-hmm,
kind of downplaying it
mm-hmm,
when people, right? Because somebody might say, oh, well, I'll never do that. And they girl, no. But
mm-hmm.
somebody says,
Somebody
oh
says,
my God,
"Congratulations, you did an amazing job." Oh,
that was nothing.
mm-hmm.
Oh, girl, that old thing.
Oh,
And
God get the glory.
thank you for that. Yes. Instead of saying, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We
Yeah,
downplay it. So
or
that's what
defer
that
it.
looks like.
Mm-hmm,
Yep. Or defer
mm-hmm.
it. That's what that looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I worry about feelings overwhelming shame if my incompetence is ever revealed. Oh, that's so good.
Read that one
Always,
again.
sometimes, and never. I worry about feeling overwhelming shame if my incompetence is ever revealed. So those are people who can't take feedback, like negative feedback.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do well with negative feedback or criticism. It's just hard for you to hear that you might have messed up a little.
Even constructive, right? Constructive criticism. This is how you can do this
Mhm.
better, right? Okay.
I worry that people will find out I'm not as smart as they think I am. Always, sometimes, or never. I
Wow.
worry that people will find out that I am not as smart as they think I am. That's so interesting to me.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's
So what that
interesting.
could look like is, am I as smart as I think I am? Like, do I really know this?
That's
Is that,
still interesting to me.
do I really know this
Yeah.
information? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have,
That's interesting because I just met with somebody today and I asked that question, like, is it true? Like, are you smart? I was like, yeah, I am. I'm like, is it true? She was like, I am, but she had this look on her face, like, I guess I am
right.
smart, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I worry that people will find out that I'm not as smart as I think I am. That's
Mhm.
interesting to me.
Yeah.
Always, sometimes, or never. I downplay my achievement.
Okay.
Always, sometimes, or never. That's a good one. People do that a lot.
That's a good one. A lot.
Mhm.
A
I
lot.
downplay, oh, that old thing, or yeah, give the glory goes to God. Like, what? You did it. You were the person on stage.
Right.
Always, sometimes,
You
or
had to
never.
put
You
you had to
you
put
wrote the
something
book.
into it, right? In order to
Exactly.
accomplish it, to walk up. Yeah.
Exactly. It was your efforting.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard, like, I don't know how I got into this Ivy League school. Seriously,
yeah.
you,
You
you
don't
I
know.
don't know how I got into this school.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
not enough.
And we'll talk
Yeah.
about too some of the ways to overcome that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard for me to accept compliments. Always, sometimes, or never.
Mhm.
It's
That's a
hard
good
for me
one. That is a good one.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel uncomfortable with praise. That's very common.
It is very common. Yeah.
Feel uncomfortable with praise. Always, sometimes, or never. Um, yeah, and that's a part of that I'm not enoughness.
Mhm.
Um, I compare myself to others. Oh boy, right?
Yeah.
Always, sometimes, or never. Our society is set up so that is an experience that we have.
Yes.
I compare myself to others, like keeping up with the Joneses.
Mhm.
Um, and then somebody find out that I really couldn't keep up with them, but because I'm comparing myself with others, I have to keep up with
Right.
neighbors or whatever.
Causes a lot of
Um,
dishonesty too. Causes a
mhm,
lot of dishonesty with
mhm,
self and
mhm.
with others. Yeah.
Yeah, challenges our integrity from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. The fact that I compare myself with others challenges our integrity, our integral self, because we
Right.
are of no comparison to another. Um,
Mhm.
always, sometimes, or never. I feel like failing is not an option. How about that?
Oh. Wow. A lot of people feel that way, but well, we can talk about where they come from, but because it hasn't been an option,
Mm-hmm.
it hasn't been allowed. So
Mm-hmm.
whether it's at home with parents, it's at school, it hasn't been an option. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And we have been trained to believe that failing is bad and wrong. Oh boy, that's just so messed up.
yeah,
Always, sometimes, or never. I feel like failing is not an option. That
yeah,
is that I'm not enough. That what
yeah,
else would that propagate? But I am not enough. If failing is
right.
not an option, and we all fail,
Then what does that mean about
yeah,
everybody?
yes,
There is no such thing as not failing.
yes. It's there. Failure is a part of the process. If there's such a thing, is it failing or
There
is
is
it
such
just
a thing,
learning?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like failing is not an option. Always, sometimes, or never. I hesitate to bring about. I hesitate to brag about my accomplishments.
Mm,
Always, sometimes, or never. This is good stuff.
it is. It is.
Um, I
Hey,
don't like drawing.
Sheridan.
Hey, Sheridan.
Sorry.
Hey. I don't like drawing attention to my successes. Always,
Mm,
sometimes, or never.
yeah. I always want to be in the background. Don't want to
Yeah.
talk about, yeah. Don't want to talk about what you've
Hmm.
accomplished.
I know that I struggled. I still am challenged to self promote. Writing like LinkedIn and things like that, self promoting. I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't have the language or whatever. But that's one of those areas. I don't like drawing attention to my successes. Um, but that's a big, that it's so simple and subtle, but it is a part of that I am not enough.
Right. Yeah.
Enough. I feel like things are more of a struggle for me. I feel like things are more of a struggle for me. Always, sometimes, and never. And I think that comes with the people who feel like they have to effort in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes things are not really an efforting, but if it's not efforting, then it doesn't qualify as good enough.
Right. Yeah.
Feel like things are more of a struggle for me. Um, I feel like I'm just making it up as I go. That's life.
Yeah. We all make it up
Sher-
as.
yeah. Sheridan says, I don't like to talk about my success. It's hard to promote myself. Oh, good, because you are an amazing author. And if you got that going on, then I'm in good company. Um, I feel good. Thank you, Sheridan. Like that's a real thing, and it's okay because that's good. And you are an amazing author. So it's hard to promote myself. I hate to be introduced in public settings. I know it feels really weird. I totally agree. Um,
Okay.
but and then when you listen to it, it's like, well, it's true, but so that's really
Yeah. When you
good.
put
Yeah.
some words to it, it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
we.
that's me.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, so
it's
I did. I just had that experience actually. It didn't feel weird, and it wasn't that I hated being introduced. But when I started to, so I spoke, and one of the ladies on here was at that event. I spoke at a ladies' event on Saturday, and when I started to look at the program, I saw that my bio was longer than other people, and I started to feel some kind of way, like, oh, I probably should have shortened that. Like, why did I have to put all of that in there? Was all that necessary? Girl, for 30 seconds, all of that ran through my head, and I was like, it's there, they're reading it, shut up.
right.
But I did.
Yeah. And it's okay because it was for that, and everything is as it should be. Like everything, triple underscore. It is as it should be. But
Yes,
yeah, just doing that, we've just been so programmed
yes. Well,
to shrink or to
well,
be
we're gonna
small
talk
or to
about
be the
where,
same.
yeah,
We,
we're
we're
gonna
so
talk about
programmed to
that
be
too.
the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're gonna talk
Um,
about causes of it. I can't wait to get to that part, but yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm just making it up as I go, always, sometimes, or never. And I think we all are, especially parents, man. Let me just give you permission. Say, write you a
Right?
permission slip. You are making it up as you go. And it's okay because we don't know what we're doing. And if we're trying to change generational experiences, we are making it up as we go.
Right.
Um, Michelle and I used to tease, talk about, parenting is 50-50. We don't know if we should have went off on our kids or did talk therapy. We just take it, we
Right.
we just
Right.
taking a risk here. We chose talk therapy. See how it goes. We don't know. Sometimes we like, maybe we should have cussed them out a little bit more.
We don't know.
So
We just
sometimes,
make it
yeah,
up.
sometimes, yeah, we are making it up
Sheridan
as we
says,
go.
I always respond with, "Oh, please, I'm just." Then downplay the accomplishment.
Downplay it. Yeah, but you are more than enough. And that's why we're having this
Girl,
conversation today. More than enough. Yeah.
not
We are
shameless
not.
plug for next book. Another sad love song is out. That's Sheridan's
Oh,
next book. It is amazing.
nice.
I got my copy. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to read it. I got so much going on, but I got to sneak some stuff in here and there. So, Sheridan, you are the bomb.com.
And you spoke the truth right here. Downplaying my success is a lie. It's not integrity.
Yes.
Yes, it
I
is
had to
not
learn that
integrity.
humility isn't the same as lying. Yes.
Yeah.
Humility isn't
Hmm.
the same as lying. Downplaying my successes.
Hmm.
Yes.
That's so good. Hmm.
Hey,
Right
so what
on.
about this thought? I just had this thought. God gave us what we have, right? He's blessed us with these purposes and talents and gifts. And so downplaying them just kind of downplays the purpose perhaps that he has for our lives. And when we start, for some reason, when we take us out of it, whether it's I'm gonna do this for Stephanie or I'm gonna do this for Christ or whatever, when we take us out of it, we can see it as this big thing that should be happening.
It's
This great,
permissive then. Hmm.
yeah. But when we're thinking about something, when we're taking ourselves out of the equation, right? And so God didn't make no junk. He didn't make no mistake.
Right.
And you're to be the author that you are. I'm to be the speaker and the therapist that I am. You're to be the marriage and family therapist that you are, and encouraging women with the purpose. And
Hmm.
so we start to look at it like that. Perhaps we can take some of that imposter
Hmm.
syndrome, start to relieve ourselves of that imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
But anyway, I
Yeah,
jumped
and
in.
that we've been created for this moment, and understanding that we've been created for this moment. Just
Yeah.
always remembering that I have been created for this moment. There is not another Sheridan that can produce what you brought to the planet. Like that was intentional.
Yeah.
The message that you bring, Michelle, when you have the speaking opportunity, the therapy opportunity, nobody can do this thing the way we do it. So
Yeah.
it can't be wrong. It cannot be wrong.
Exactly. And
It's
it
not
was being
true.
manifested in childhood, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
Sharon don't kill me, but a little bit of her story is that reading wasn't her thing growing up. Even then, it was being manifested.
Mm-hmm.
Even back then,
Mm-hmm.
it was being manifest. This was being, you were being prepped, and God was preparing you for. Yeah.
Yeah. It was already predestined.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
everybody doesn't, because of the imposter syndrome, we don't step into it fully. Everybody's doing a little bit of something that they call to do because we just cannot. So,
Right.
but to step into it fully is
Yeah.
where the imposter syndrome comes in as this little blind spot, I call it. Um,
Mhm.
the last one is success does not come easy for me. I have to work at it. Oh, if we could change that paradigm.
Right.
Always, sometimes, or never. Success does not come easy for me. I have to work at it.
And that is your out. What is your out? What is success?
Hmm. Hmm.
What is success?
Yeah.
Right? You have to define that. What is
Yeah.
success?
So
Um,
kind of go through those and see how many always, nevers, or sometimes you have, and do your own self evaluation.
yeah.
To every question is like, is it really true? Like, to everything, is it true?
Hmm.
Um, but if
Absolutely.
you have areas of sometimes, a couple of those I had sometimes, one of those I said always. I think my belief was that I have to work so hard, but I was told that,
Mhm.
like literally, I was
I think a
told
lot
that.
of this stuff we were taught in some way, whether directly told or taught through actions, or
Hmm.
our what we perceived the thing to be when someone did not high five a C, but they high fived an A, or didn't high
Right,
five an A because that's what you're supposed to do.
right,
So
exactly.
we,
And
we
so there, I'm not enough, still not enoughness.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
my goods aren't celebrated. Even my successes
right.
aren't celebrated. Yeah.
So some of the characteristics are, self doubt. You guys, we got to bring you some facts or whatever. Self doubt, inability to realistically assess your competence and skills, attributing your success to external factors, like it wasn't anything that you done. Um, hey, daughter. Berating or belittling or downplaying your performance. Fear that you won't live up to expectations. Oh my God. Ding, 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 ding. I think that's kind of one of the biggest things for me is that, well, I can't set this expectation because what if I don't meet it? I,
Yeah.
I can't set it too high because what if I don't, whatever, fill in the blanks,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Overachieving, sabotaging your own success,
Mhm.
right? And then setting very challenging goals and feeling disappointed when falling short,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you think. I want to make sure I highlight that. That's what you think people expect. Because sometimes it's just
Mhm.
our thoughts about what people
Mhm.
expect of
Mhm.
us. It's not really real or true.
Mhm.
And so we set those challenging goals, and when we don't hit them, then it's like, see, I knew,
Yeah. Mhm.
I knew it. You know. Um, so those are some of the characteristics of it. And then you named a lot of things in that quiz. Here's some other things, other questions. Do you agonize over even the smallest mistake or flaw in your work?
Yep.
Right, right. You agonize
I
over the
do. I
smallest.
do. I had put in one of my case notes, I put something 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 repressed moods, and I meant to put depressed mood, but I had already saved and locked the note.
You can
And
unlock those, right?
no, I didn't. Uh-uh.
Yes.
So I was just like, oh my God, like for a quick second. And I was just like, girl, let that, whatever. You know, I got so many other sessions, but I locked on to that repressed
Yeah.
mood. And I was just like, I locked that. I locked that note.
Yeah.
And I was, but it just, yeah. And when when I redid it, when I did the new note, I corrected it, but I was just like,
Right. Right.
how did
Yes.
I miss that? It was just weird, but something just that little kind of like took me
Yeah.
aback for a second. It's like, oh,
And sometimes we can't let that thing go. Right. So yeah.
yeah,
So let's just, what I found here is a few causes of this is, I'll read what I found. So we know that certain factors can contribute to the more general experience of imposter syndrome. For example, you might have come from a family that highly valued achievement or had parents who flipped back and forth between offering praise and being critical,
mhm.
right? We also know that entering a new role can trigger imposter syndrome. For example,
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
yes, especially when you move into that next level, right?
yes,
So, for example,
yes,
starting college or university might leave you feeling as though you don't belong and are not capable. And like I said, I have people from Ivy League school. We know about these schools. You cannot get in if you don't meet the requirements to get in. And we have
Exactly.
people. I have people that I see that are in Ivy League schools. Like, I don't really know how I got here. Like, I don't, maybe what were you, a charity case or something? Like, they really can't see that. Yeah. Um, yeah, so that was one. And so imposter syndrome and social anxiety may overlap. So,
Absolutely.
and then anxiety period, and it's all the negative things cognitively that we think and that we tell ourselves,
The shoulda, shoulda,
and the
shoulda.
what if, what
Mm-hmm.
if, what if I don't say it right? What if I don't, I should
What
have done
if?
that right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. What if?
Yeah. So
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen with repressed moods?
So
What
here's
is
what I would ask you if you were my client. So what is that gonna matter in a week?
right?
What is it gonna
It's
matter in the
not.
next month? What is it gonna matter next year? It's not.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not.
No,
And
no.
of course that's a small example, and people may be going through like
Bigger things, but
big
I'm just
things,
saying
but
that
yes,
something like that can stop you
in your
in
tracks,
your tracks.
debilitate you, yeah, immobilize you from moving forward. It
Mm-hmm.
immobilizes people from moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So this was interesting. I found like different types. Um, this was very interesting to me. The perfectionists, those
Yeah,
who are never satisfied and always feel that their work could be better. So,
I
true
got that.
story. I had an exam to do. It was an at-home exam in my grad program, and I did the exam. The day it was given wasn't due for another week and a half, but I didn't submit it because I just knew it was something else wrong in there that I need to just go back and correct, and I need to look at it again. The morning that it was due, the next morning, after it was due, my eyes popped open. I didn't hit submit. I never hit submit. Michelle, why didn't you hit submit? What is wrong with you? I called a girlfriend who was in my class at the time. Was like, did you hit submit? She was like, yes. Why? Because I didn't. She was like, why not? I was like, I don't know. I didn't. And I got hysterical, and I texted the teacher, and I was like, oh my God, can you open the portal? I promise I did it. Da, 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 da. She was like, yeah, no, I'm not opening the portal back up. I was like, really? You just, yeah, no.
And you had it done already, but perfectionism.
Perfectionism. And, and,
Oh
uh,
my goodness.
and then my brain went to, oh my God, I'm going to fail this class. Like, girl, you got A's straight through. What are you talking about? And she did email us like, your grade is fine. You'll be fine. And in my mind, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to get a B minus or a C. That's not acceptable, until I can pull myself together and stop panicking and
Mm-hmm.
really think about my grade and what I had done the whole year. And this one test was not going to fail me. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so perfectionism. The superhero, because these individuals feel inadequate, they feel compelled to push themselves to work as hard as possible. You need somebody to see that you're working really, really hard.
Right.
Just driving ourselves, crazy. No pun intended.
Yes. Yes.
The expert. These individuals are always trying to learn more and are never satisfied with their level of understanding. That's so crazy. Because when I was growing up, I remember thinking, I want to know a little bit about every single thing. I had no idea the magnitude of that statement, but I do remember when I was younger thinking, I want to know about everything. Like, I want to know how that electric line is working. I want to know how that is. I want to know a little bit about everything. I never went forth trying to make that happen, but I do remember on multiple occasions saying that to myself. And then often thinking, I wonder how that works. Like, girl, you don't, that they got people for that. You don't need
Right,
to,
right.
right?
Right.
Yeah. Um, so even though they are often highly skilled, they underrate their own expertise.
Yes.
Then we have the natural genius. These individuals set excessively lofty goals for themselves and then feel crushed when they don't succeed on their first try. On their first try.
So I used to have something like that when I played sports. I always felt like for some reason that if I put a basketball in my hand, I'm supposed to know how to play basketball like just like that. So I'm learning a new sport right now. So
Yes.
I am really challenging myself and giving myself permission to say, you don't know this game. You didn't come out your mother's womb knowing this. Nobody taught you this. Like
Right.
grace, 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 grace. Because that
Yeah.
I am when it comes to things like sports, competitive sports, and even sometimes not really on the job, because I don't know. But when it's something about sports, and I didn't realize it until I pick up another sport that it bowling. I don't care what it is. I've always, even as I started bowling at 5, and even then I felt like I should know it. And so when I wasn't mastering it, I I felt less than. I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I didn't have
Yeah.
this natural, oh, I'm just learning. It's okay. So I've had to really work on that with this sport that I'm doing now, like giving myself permission. And I
Right.
think, I don't remember, painting. I used to use painting as my no judgment zone. And I believe that practicing that with the painting has helped me in this sport to be able not to like to give myself some grace.
Yes.
I know I'm a little obsessive about it because I'm competitive, but I don't have this thing going on inside of me like I should know this or I should be able to hit this ball. I don't have that going
Yeah.
on, but that was a thing. I was supposed to know it if what I'm doing out here, you
Right.
know? And I used to be like that. I'd be afraid when I was playing softball. I would be afraid of what I was going to feel like if I missed the ball.
Yes. Now that's a big deal. I was a softball player. That was my sport. That was my sport when I was younger. I loved softball. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
played better than any of the girls, and I gave the guys a run for their money too. But yeah, and I felt like I needed to play better than everybody.
Yeah.
It was
So
like we
that's
was just playing. It wasn't even like we were on teams. We
okay.
were just outside
Right.
playing, right? We was just outside playing. We weren't on any teams or
Exactly.
anything. So yeah,
It's so
yeah.
interesting, but yeah, it's true.
Let's see it, and if you guys can identify if you are any of these, you can drop them in the chat, the in the comment
Hmm.
section. The perfectionist, the superhero, the expert, the natural genius, and the last one is the soloist. These people tend to be very individualistic and prefer to work alone. Self-worth often stems from their productivity, so they often reject offers of assistance because I need
Mm,
this so that I feel worthy that I did this, I accomplished this. They tend to see asking for help as a sign of weakness or
weakness.
incompetence. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And so I want to be clear too when we talk about causes and coming from families with high expectations. It doesn't always look like this is what you need to do and you better do this.
Right.
Sometimes it can look like, you know, your sibling, for instance, didn't get an A for whatever reasons. They didn't do the homework, whatever. They that's the best they could do, whatever it was. And then you watch the response of the adult and you make up in your mind, you
That
perceive in
ain't
your
gonna be
mind
my
that's not
experience.
okay. Right. And I'm not doing that because that did not make him or her happy. Now,
Yes.
being a child looking at that, it may not necessarily even been the C that they were complaining about as much as you didn't do your homework.
And that's
You
why you got to see. Hmm.
exactly. But if I'm on the outside of that situation, watching, if you're on the outside or a child is watching the sibling being reprimanded because they didn't try, maybe perhaps I didn't get that part that they didn't try. All I got was, oh, the C
They
wasn't
got
okay.
to see. C's are not good.
Right. So it can look like that. It's not. And so I want to be clear because we're parents. It's not always that like you did a horrible job as a parent. Sometimes it's just the perception of the child and the messaging that they get and that they
The
make up in
indirect
their own
implications.
brains
Yeah.
because there is no like conversation about this is what this means and this is why, you know what I mean? So kids are
Mhm.
kind of make up their own minds about what's happening with their perception, you know, in their brain and their level of thinking. So how do we cope with this? How do we cope? What do we do? What are some things, you know, that we can um, do to kind of, and I have a few, but if you have some too, Steph, we can,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, if someone is seeking help for it, it's gotten that extreme. Just helping them process their schemas, their belief systems, rewriting their narratives about it,
Hmm.
sharing new narratives, a new experience about it. My thing, for the last couple of years is like, is it true? Is it true?
Right,
And if it is true, or is it not true, what is the truth? Like just
right,
challenging their belief system about that thing. I mean, can you imagine a Maya Angelou having
no,
doubt?
imposter syndrome
Yeah, like
about
that she's not enough,
as
and
powerful as a woman as she is or was, yeah.
exactly, yeah. So just even if I think like, how would I help to assist her on her journey? It would be like, well, tell me what success really looks like for you. Like, tell me
Right,
what would be enough for you to accept the validation, to accept whatever accolades. What would be enough? Challenging our thoughts
right.
about it is just so important. Um, yeah, challenging our thoughts about it, just stepping into reality.
Yep, asking ourselves some hard questions and being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be
Mm-hmm.
honest first. Like, what core beliefs do I hold about myself? Do
Mm-hmm.
I believe I am worthy of love as I am? Like, and ponder that, because that's not a quick answer all the
It
time.
is not, and
It's
yeah, it's
not.
not. It's a daily
Yes,
question that everyone should ask themselves every day,
absolutely.
looking in that beautiful mirror at your beautiful selves and ask, in this moment, at this is am I worthy of the love that
Right.
that that I need to have or I want? Hmm.
Must I be perfect for others to approve of me? Like, ask those hard questions, right? Here's some
Well,
techniques
and
that
what about what is perfection? I'm gonna be the therapist right now. What is
what does that mean? What does
what
that
what
mean?
is what is perfection? And then you get your answer, and then so
And is that
can
even
we work in can we no, if they give me an answer, then can we work towards that? Is that something that's achievable for you?
right? Right.
Because it's still possible. If you think that let's do it. If you think that that's perfection, let's can you do that, or can this be enough?
Right.
But
Yeah.
most times people don't have a list of perfection because it's not real.
Right. Correct.
They don't.
And it's
Yeah,
something that they've been told, right? Or
this
this,
elusive thing that I'm reaching for
yeah,
that's
this,
somewhere out there.
right.
Yeah.
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 So talk to people about how you feel. Your friends, if they can help you. I say if they can help you because you got to have the type of friends that's going to be on that plane with you. A therapist, um, and to challenge those, you know, share your feelings and challenge those irrational beliefs. Because a lot of times
Yeah.
these are irrational.
And people with, or let me just say people, because we all experience imposter syndrome. But when those imposter syndromes come about, be mindful that you don't want to be in the space with judgmental people. Don't judge yourself either, but
Right.
judgmental people, people who do the shoulds, or you just are
Hmm.
not the people to help you and support you in the healing or the moving, navigating through the imposter syndrome.
And
You
that could,
shouldn't feel like that. Don't tell me how I should
right,
feel. You shouldn't
right,
feel like that,
right,
but I do. So now what else is wrong with me?
right, right. So now I feel like I shouldn't. So now that's a problem too. What's wrong with me for feeling this way? Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Assess, and this is something that I do. I go back and I pull out all, you know, assess your abilities. So for a client, I might go back
Yes.
if I know what their accomplishments were, and we talk about those accomplishments and how they got,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. and how
That's
they
good.
got there.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm like, okay, so what are some of the things that, like, well, how did you get in that school? Well, because, and it's like, okay, well, what helps me in that area as well is that I have the experience of being a school counselor, a college counselor, and I know how this thing goes, and you don't just
Hmm.
get in, right? So we
Right.
start to assess their accomplishments so that you then can see, like, oh, okay, so yeah, I did that.
I did it.
Um,
Hmm.
take baby steps. Don't focus on doing things perfectly, rather do things reasonably well and reward yourself for taking action.
Yes. Push
Yeah,
through
for
it.
example.
Move, just
Yes.
move, not just that's a judgmental statement. Move through it. Move through
Yeah.
the doubt and disbelief and not enoughness. Literally,
Hmm.
it's a push. You literally have to like push yourself through the belief system.
Practice talking about yourself. For example, when you're taking the baby steps in a group conversation, offer an opinion or share a story about yourself.
That's
Because
good.
I think that we have to practice that thing to feel more comfortable with it.
Mhm.
Right? It feels, in the words of Sheridan, it feels weird, but I think that the more we do a thing, right, um, then we start to feel a little bit more comfortable. And it's not going to
Mhm.
happen overnight because you didn't get this way overnight.
Right.
You did not
Right.
inherit this overnight. So it's going to take a little time. Um, we said this: question and challenge your thoughts as you start to assess your abilities. Take baby steps. Question whether your thoughts are rational. We said that already. Like, is this true? Like, is this a rational thought? You know, um, we talked about comparing. You don't want to compare. Stop fighting your feelings. Don't fight the feeling of not belonging. Instead, try to lean into it and accept it,
Mhm.
right? And try to work through, why do I feel like I don't belong?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and make sure that the language is, I feel like I don't belong.
Exactly.
And that's
Yes.
really not a feeling, it's a thought, but just
Right.
so we're aware. But
Always
yeah,
trying to get you out your head in that instance.
yes, yes, yeah. So I feel
Right.
like I don't belong here. I feel like I don't belong here. Is that true?
Mhm.
No?
Yeah.
Is it true?
Yeah. And it's okay if it's true that you don't belong in a certain place. Then
But if
find your
we're
find
there, like if
your there.
if I've gotten into an Ivy League school, even though I don't
Oh
feel like
yeah,
I
yes,
belong
yes,
there,
yes,
I'm
yes, yes.
here.
I'm
If I've
here.
written a billion poems that have been published and used by presidents and people in other countries, is it
Yes.
true that I'm a fraud?
Don't
That people are
belong.
going to really find me out? What are they going to find out? Is it true? Like, so I may
Yeah.
not feel like I'm supposed to be sitting up here at this table with royalty,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm here.
Yeah. Because I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And the only reason that I'm just, going on a rant, is because somebody hasn't realized that I'm supposed to be there yet. I'm gonna get there. Yeah, we're supposed to be in royalty. Use social media moderately because we have a tendency to compare, and just like the people that put the stuff out there, a lot of the stuff is not real, or they show
Hmm.
you good stuff, they don't show you the negative, and so
Right.
that kind of lends to comparing ourselves to what we think is happening in people's lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Um,
I think that social media has a tendency to promote the imposter syndrome. Like, it's one thing to have it and it comes upon you, but then when you can go on social media and create it,
right.
you get to create an imposter
Yes.
for yourself. And then you got, now when you're being called to the table to present who you are in social media.
Right. Yeah. And that goes with authenticity, making sure you're being authentic about who you say you are. Like, you don't want to have imposter syndrome, but you want to be honest about who you are too.
Right.
Yeah. And then refuse to let it hold you back. So no matter how much you feel like you don't belong, don't let that stop you from pursuing your goals.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you filling up the room with your presence in that space. Keep going and refuse to be stopped. Don't let that stop you from being who you are in this moment, you know. Takes a lot of it takes some self-talk. An exercise that I have my clients to do from time to time is an affirmation, like having an affirmation journal. And so writing something that is true, like thinking about something that you think about yourself that's not true, right? And then you write what is true in this journal, and you write it 5 times, 3 times a day for 30 days. So if it's I am enough, 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the afternoon, 5 times in the evening before going to bed. And so what that does is that it changes the more you see that, because we got to rewire the brain with the thought processes that we have. And so, you know, the more you see that, the more the brain can grasp, okay, I am enough. You know, so you're changing the lies that you tell yourself about yourself by using affirmations to tell yourself something different.
Right.
And I think that really does that. That's one thing that I say to do. Yeah. This has been fun. This is, you know, I had no idea that I would find anything, I don't know why, on imposter syndrome.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And I just it's one of those things that we kind of toss around. So I'm glad that we did talk about it, because I know a lot of people feel like imposters. But we are here to validate you and to encourage you to validate yourself.
Yeah.
When
You're
you
here.
need
You're
that-
supposed to
yes,
be here.
you're supposed to
And
be
the
here.
world
God-
needs whatever gifts you bring to the planet. You know, the world needs that.
Absolutely.
Bring
Absolutely.
it.
So thank you. We didn't have a lot. Hi, Barbara. We didn't have a whole lot. Hey, Ponda. Thank you. Ponda said, good job. Great information. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was fun. Great information. I learned a lot too, just kind of. So when we do these things, sometimes we don't have a lot of the answers and we got to do some research ourselves. And I learned a lot.
That was good.
Yeah. I learned about this imposter syndrome. So we're going to wipe the slate clean, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get rid of imposter syndrome, because you are worthy. You are enough.
Yeah,
you are valuable.
enough.
Put here for a purpose. And when you start to think about self-sabotaging, or I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or who do I think I am, because we've been asked that in some arenas, who do you think you are? You know, even if it's up here, it doesn't have to be an authority figure. We've been asked that, and so we start to put ourselves in this box of, you know, I need to do it.
Box.
Yes. Not letting the light out. Just think about when you get to that point in life, like think about who created you.
That's it.
That's it.
Period.
You don't make no junk. Yes. He put us here for a purpose, and you're working in that purpose. Think about the people that need what you have. Think about the Sheridan, I need your books, girlfriend. I need the world away from my world. And I want it. And if you don't have Sheridan S. Davis as your authoress, y'all better go look her up on Amazon, because her books are thebomb.com. And it helps me to kind of get away. But think about your talent and the people. If you don't share it, if you cover it up, if you put it in a box and tuck it away, the people that you're not giving it to, the people that need what you have.
Yeah. And if you're closed off to your gifts, what you do one place, you do all places. So if you're closed off to your gift, you are closed off to so many other things, because there's no opening, there's no alignment. So that's something to think about. If you're hiding your passion or your gifts, or you're questioning, should I be here? Am I okay? Is this the right thing for me? You're questioning you're closing yourself off to a lot of other things. You are not open to the receptive. You're not open to receive all the other stuff that's coming your way. It's coming at you, but you're missing it because you're not feeling worthy. So it's a thing that happens. You just got to speak to that thing, speak to that mountain. Get out of here.
Right. So, with that said, imposter syndrome, you are no fraud. You are no fraud. Right? Thank you, my friend, as
You are so
usual.
welcome. This was good stuff.
Guys, for chiming in with us. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Now I'm getting
Yes.
ready to go get this workout in.
That ain't my narrative tonight. But
Yes.
so
Okay. All right.
have an
So until
amazing
next
rest of the
time.
evening.
All right. Talk to you
All
guys
right.
later. 2 weeks.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Keep out.